Alright folks, just doing another quick sound check. Just want to make sure everything's looking okay. Alright, looks like we're ready to go. There we are. I just realized the camera was not on. There we go, camera should be on. Just opening up all the different channels here since we are simulcasting, and there we go. We're at the end of the timer. There's the disclaimer for you guys. This is the Futures Now session, July 20, 2021. It's a Tuesday morning for me. My name is Bojan Petreski, go by Bo. Easier to say and remember. Oops, let's not do that. Right there. Today is we're doing the Futures Now sessions where we will be trading futures utilizing the software and the tools and the plan and the approach that we follow here on our channel. If you don't mind, just to confirm that everything's looking okay, just shoot a quick yes, it's good, no, it's not, on the various channels that you may be looking at this through. And then I just want to confirm this is the last one. I didn't realize I didn't have it open here. There we go. We're looking good. All right, so the agenda for today, we're going to look at the current market environment, and we're going to look at trade execution. We're going to look at new opportunities, things that are going to be presented for us during this session we'd like to take. Especially important and of importance in this session is, in the middle of the session around 9:30 Eastern, we have the market open. Obviously, gold and crude oil already being open, that they're already going to have some volatility built into it. But given that the broad market opens at 9:30, we're going to see a little bit more of that kick into. And the goal, to an extent, especially when trading those indices and the majors, as we call them, is to actually have our safety target reached before the market opens, right? We don't always get that, but that's kind of the optimal goal, let's call it. Okay, so I'm just gonna double check if everything's good here. Looking like it is. Okay, yep, looking good so far. I think we're all set to go. Just want to make sure something's not really right here. There we go. All's good now. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I have all of the different ways to communicate here open, because I did not have one of them, and it was basically getting stuck. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. So that's just our website. I'm just going to go ahead and open up TradeStation. I'm going to open up our short time frame workspace, which I know a few of you have actually already requested this workspace. Please feel free to send me an email. I'll be more than glad to share it with you, and then we can get started. Looks like we have a few alerts there. Okay, cool. Let me just, I'm not sure why. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is our workspace. If this is the first time you're seeing this, this might look a little, intimidating, so to speak. Not to be worried. It's actually fairly straightforward to follow. The main two columns that we're looking at is this, obviously from this auto climate that we have here, we're looking at the climate window, and then we're looking at the condition. So those are the first two things that we need to look at before we look at any of the numbers here, because those are the ones that are going to give us, whether or not price is even near for us to bother looking at it, right? So the first thing that we want to have is, a confirmed climate, which means either a red or a blue rectangle here, which we do, right? In most of these, it's the case. The next thing that we want to have here in this condition is a sensible short or long, right? Sensible, not hopeful, definitely not hopeful, right? Because we want to, put odds in our favor. We want to go and do things that make sense rather than things that we hope they work out. So that's kind of the justification of it. The actual statistical reasoning of why something is hopeful versus sensible has to do with these numbers in between here. So just to kind of clarify it, as you see right here in the it's currently in 7 up climates. The gold, so 7 periods of 15 minutes, when it typically goes up for 4. Right, so that means this is a little bit hopeful, it's a little bit overextended, maybe look for something else. You can certainly trade it, but as of right now, because it is hopeful, and it's currently on the 7th, sorry, oh, what the heck, it's on the, sorry, something was happening there, so it's currently on the 7th day up, out of typically 4, because 3.62 we round up to 5, right? To 4. Excuse me, guys. I'm not sure what's happening. My radar screen is giving alerts, and that's canceling out my my software that I use to showcase the things here. All right. So the first thing that we want to open up is these two that are sensible shorts, which is crude oil and the euro contract. Let's go ahead and get them open. So crude oil on the 15th and the euro on the 15th. All right, I'm just checking through the chat here to make sure we're looking good. All right, if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Okay. And there we are. All right, just making sure we're good. Yep, all set. Okay, so we have our symbols here in front of us. CL definitely changed. How do we know? We can simply go to morning tabs here, futures all active, and then we see energies. Crude oil is on the U contract. So we just type CLU 21. All right. Okay, looking good, I think. That's weird. Okay. Oops, sorry about that, folks. I'm gonna have to get that fixed a little bit later. There we go. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. We're looking at a down climate, as we said. It's the 5th candle down out of typically 11, so it's definitely not too late to get in on this. The issue is that we don't have a sell UFO that coincides with this climate. And what I mean by that is basically around this area, around this 66.28 area, 66.30 area, around here somewhere, right, is where we're looking to have a sell UFO, but unfortunately we do not. We have this one as 66.37 up above that starts actually at 66.31. This could work out. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but as of right now, it's really not looking like it will. Let's see, what do we have on the euro? Okay, not a whole lot there. All right, we definitely have some UFOs here that may work on for us. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, okay, kind of similar picture across the board. To see what's actually going to happen here, we're gonna have to just be on the lookout if any new UFOs develop. I'm just kind of loading up and kind of getting myself set up here. So let's see, 4th out of typically 7. Okay. All right. Does not look like we have anything immediately in front of us, so we're gonna go ahead. I mean, on crude oil, quite frankly, I do want to look at it a little bit closer, mainly because, you know, something that when it comes to our software, it's you know, it's very reactive to how the market behaves. So if we have a good drop from a certain area, there's a good chance that it'll detect that there's some unfilled orders left in that area. So depending on how price moves, I was, if I'm being honest, I was expecting something to show up right here around this area. It didn't, which, as of right now, it's actually looking pretty good for this 66.31. So, and the reason why I say it's looking good is I'm not just, trying to guess at things. This is at 66.31. The moving average, the 9 exponential moving average, at 66.29. So if this were to pop another 10-15 cents, it's actually going to be right in the middle of this UFO, as long as it happens in the next 5 minutes or so, as you see, because it'll update the climate, and of course the climate is 15 minutes here. It'll update this moving average, so it may push it down a little bit too much, and then it won't work out. So we're gonna have to just kind of keep an eye on it. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my trade here, 66.31. As of right now, this one does make sense here. Okay, something's definitely wrong with my stuff here. 66.31 we said. There we go. All right, 10 tick stop. And then as far as, and the reason why it's 10 ticks right here is because obviously the top of this UFO is 66.40. 66.41 is the natural stop. It is in the white space across the board here. So that's what we want to see when we're trading these setups. We want to have our stop in the white space, not in another UFO. Looking at crude oil. All right, does not seem to have anything down below. So what I'll do is I'll just load a little bit more data and see if we can get some more information. Okay, and there we are. Wow, still nothing. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and trail stop this without a T2. And go ahead and cancel this one. And that will be the setup right there. If this fills in the next, as I said, in the next 5 minutes or so, or 3 minutes now, we'll be looking good. If it does not, then we're gonna have to reanalyze it again in about, as I said, 3 minutes, mainly because if the moving average gets recalculated to well below this UFO, then this setup will not work. All right. EC has actually just made a UFO right there, but unfortunately it is below the moving average at 1788.5, which is right here. So in about 2 minutes or so though, this actually might work out to our favor. Mainly because as it gets pushed down, the moving average, this UFO might actually work. So we're also going to keep an eye on that. So we're really just waiting for 2 more minutes here. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and then you guys let me know if you have any questions or comments, okay? All right, I'm just checking all the different areas where we're streaming. Now, of course, us, simulcasting, that's not anything it's not anything out of the ordinary to see. Wow, that UFO just disappeared. and you see how reactive our software is to market movement. Obviously, if those orders got filled, it's not going to be there anymore. So our plan of kind of waiting for EC for the next few minutes might be out the window, mainly because that UFO is now gone. We do have a new one though. a new one on the 233 tick bar. And that's also the importance of why you shouldn't just use minute frames, mainly because, you know, they move in minutes, right? There's only so much that can happen. However, share bar, tick bars, they move at different increments, giving you more opportunities. So I would say if I was to bet on this, I would say the crude oil trade will be out the window, and we will be looking at this euro trade, and it's already looking like it's moving 17,815. Hopefully we do get a retest on this. All right, 17,850. Yep, that's going to work right there. This is within the UFO. All right, all we need to do now, all we need to see is a retest of this area to be able to get a fill on it. So that's the trade right there. Just want to see if there's anything down below. I didn't believe there was, nor has it been for quite some time. So we're going to go ahead and cancel this T2 as well. All right, let's see what's going to happen here. Okay, just checking all the chat windows, folks. You know, if everything's going okay, just say, hey, everything's good. If it's not, you know, please feel free to let me know. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good now. I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. We have our trade set up, and interestingly enough, even the minute time frame gave us a setup right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot of this. As you know, I like documenting things visually, mainly because it's just easier to follow that way. If you need to look at it again, you can say, hey, you know, why did I get in on this that one day? Well, here it is, EC 50-minute setup. Save that screenshot. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at all the other symbols here and see if we have anything. Silver has a sensible short, as does the Nasdaq. All right, I'm gonna look at the Nasdaq first, mainly because it opens in a few minutes. So let me just take a look at this. And Q60, right? We're opening the 60-minute because the 60-minute was the one that was giving us that short opportunity. So we're gonna see what we could get over here. Open with chart trading enabled. Obviously the indices kind of taking a bit of a dive. Okay, it looks like it's right there next to the moving average, so we're looking good to get this set. Ooh, that's already a UFO there. Let's see if we can get this established quickly. All right, 2 UFOs there actually. And Nasdaq is sinking lower as we speak. This UFO is the actual entry UFO 14,591. Now this one's gonna be a little bit of a, you know, higher. Is it 14,591? I think it might be higher. 14,591.25. All right. Now something that needs to kind of be kept in mind here. This is a substantially large UFO, right? It's not a small UFO by any means, shape, or form. Our stop needs to go way up above here at 14,610.50. All right, 610.50 is the stop. And now to calculate the actual T1, obviously we got to go 1-to-1. We're looking at 19.25, 19 points and a quarter. Okay, so minus 14,591.25. We're looking at 14,572 just for our T1. All right, so this is, you know, a little bit more of a you know, a riskier trade, so to speak, mainly because obviously we're looking at quite a bit of a move here. This is not, I would say, the most optimal trade. It is definitely a valid trade, but it's definitely not the most optimal, mainly because there's, I would say, less chance of this filling and hitting T1 before the market opens in about 10 minutes from now. So the setup is valid, the setup is good, but we need to be able to, you know, be also realistic with it. So obviously if we did get filled here, we'd be deep in the green right now and heading towards that T1. But this is when these UFOs happen, this is when we saw it, and sometimes you just simply can't catch them all. Before we go any further, I do want to see if I have an opposing UFO on this larger 60-minute time frame, and yes I do. It's in this area here. I just simply want to click on it, see where it actually starts, and it starts at 14,520.25. So that would be our final target. So 14,520. All right, let me just blow this up a little bit. Look at that, touching that T1. 14,520.25. Place that order, done. So if we pulled the trigger a little bit faster on this, we already would have had T1. But you know, unfortunately, we did not catch it fast enough. So here we are. Euro also kind of leaving the station without us. Crude oil, 66.19 is the moving average, which is at the top of this. It would not have worked. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel it. And that's the reason why I didn't really screenshot this, because I honestly did not think it would work unless we got filled before that 15-minute time frame update. There was probably, like I said, there was almost no chance of getting filled. All right, to look at silver, let's go ahead and to do it right now. I don't trade silver very often. When it does have some setups, you know, it's fun to see, fun to look at, but it's not an instrument I trade as often. All right, we're looking good across the board here. Okay, let's take a look at silver, most active in metals, and silver is on the September contract as well at SIU 21. Never hurts to check these. You might think to yourself, oh, I know what it is, I don't have to look. Definitely always look. All right, and we do have a UFO on silver right there at 25,155. So we could actually put this trade on right there with a stop of 190. T1 at 115. Actually, it's 120. Yep. And let's take a look and see if we have a final target to look at. Over here, looking at AutoUFOs, nothing down below. Just for kicks, let's see if we load up a little bit more data, if it's going to be any better. In the meantime, just check in to see if there's any questions or comments. Nothing so far, folks. If you are wondering about anything at all, please feel free to type it in the chat. All right, yep, nothing down below for silver. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this set up here. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that T2, and oops, I'm gonna go ahead and reset this to 500 bars just to save on computing power on these. There we are. All right, so NQ, okay, it's actually coming fairly close to our entry. Looks like it pushed up all the way to 589, so about 2 points, just shy, 2 points shy of our entry, and it's moved down again. Obviously, the most optimal situation would have been for us to have been in this trade, and then it to have gone down to that T1 like it did. But this entry is still valid. The UFO is still there. Here we go. We're in this trade now. All right. So we're definitely in this trade now. All right. And let's see how we're gonna get this done. In the meantime, just want to make sure that we're looking at this stuff together the right way. 72 even is our stop. 72 even is our stop. I'm sorry, our T1, not our stop. And then as far as a final target, we're just going to trail stop it. I'll explain how that will work in just a second. 14,610 is our 14,610.50 is our stop. Just to want to be very accurate here. All right. Nice push down. Definitely a nice push down. Nice to see. Always welcome, especially in the, if we can get T1 before the market opens, if Nasdaq can touch this again before it opens, that would be, as I said, that's the optimal solution. That's the optimal scenario. But just in case that doesn't happen, right? This is our fill candle. We're gonna go ahead and mark this out as 1, 2, 3 here. It's 3 candles that we're giving this, 3 8-minute candles that we're giving this to work out for. Obviously, we're getting in on the 60-minute time frame, right? So we have 3 times 8 minutes. That's 21 minutes to work this out of. And I'm just gonna go ahead and mark this area like that so it's easier to follow. I myself am a very visual type of guy. I like to know exactly where what is, and this is the easiest way that I've been able to kind of explain it. So in this purple rectangle, we need to either have our T1 or get stopped out. It's either one solution is okay with us, right? Something else that comes to mind here. Please, if you are trading this and you are either just beginning or you're just starting trading, be aware of the fact that right now there's quite a bit of slippage that could happen at the open. So just be aware of that fact. Something else that needs to be that comes to mind right now is that we need to cancel any other open trade. Right? We need to cancel this. The reason why we have to cancel it is because we need to have this one open trade be risk off, meaning it needs to be either T1 or stops out. So we need to cancel the EC trade and we need to cancel the silver trade until Nasdaq gets us a T1 or stops us out. Okay, so make sure to follow that along. That's just for risk protection, so to be able to make sure that your exposure is not excessive to the market. You can certainly choose to do whatever you want to do with your plan, I would say. But as far as what we do in the channel is we're trying to manage our risks instead of just keep exposing ourselves to the market. You do want to have at least one safety target. You can certainly run multiple trades at the same time. Just have one safety target already taken or be out of a trade before you take another trade is what I would say. All right. So that's that for now. All right. 5/20/25 is our final target here, which could it be reached? Absolutely. What are the odds of it reaching the same day? Probably not as good, I would say, but definitely possible. All right, we're a minute away from the open. Silver would have hit if you did leave it on. Obviously, I canceled it myself. And that would actually be 110 was T1, I think. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. Euro is still doing this thing. Crude oil is still doing this thing. So let's just go ahead and watch the Nasdaq for the open. Just gonna take a quick sip of water. And we're off to the races. A little bit of a push up. Hit the UFO, pulled back down. Let's see what's going to happen. Should be quick, right? That's what we're expecting. We want a quick either stop out or T1 so we can look at other opportunities. Either one that's going to happen is fine. Obviously, you know, this one here being taken with the mini is just really for demonstration purposes. If I were you, I would definitely take this trade with micros just to kind of, you know, mitigate that risk a little bit more. I would definitely not, I mean, if you have the account size that can withstand a large stop out like that, then by all means go for it. If you do not, I would definitely say take it with the micros, not with the minis. You don't want to be, you don't want to feel anything while you're in this trade, while you see all this jumping up and down, right? You just want to kind of just wait it out and just in your head, just be thinking, come on, Nasdaq, just do something already. Either give me a target or give me a stop out just so I can go on and look for my next opportunity. You know, that's the, you know, the mindset that you need to be in. And that's all that matters. Now, if that does not happen within this purple rectangle, right? Let's say we don't get a T1 right here at this 572, which there we go, we just got it. If we did not get this T1 though, we would have to be closing our trade as soon as this happens here. Meaning, and when I say this happens here, that just means this 8-minute candle closes, another 8-minute candle closes, and then it opens the fourth one here, and then whoa, you know, we haven't gotten T1, so it's time to close this trade manually, right? Okay, so Nasdaq is definitely dropping like a rock. Something that needs to be borne in mind here. Wow, it's actually heading quite fast. Something that I didn't even get a chance to mention here is the fact if it goes too far too fast. So I'm going to go ahead and move this, my actual stop down to here at 14,571 where we had our what's it called, our T1 hit, mainly because this market is moving too fast. I don't want to leave too much money on the table, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. 572.75, I think it was around there, I could be wrong. 72.70, a tick or two plus or minus, no big deal. Obviously this market is moving a lot. You know, we might get ourselves out of this profitable trade, but at least we're protecting profits. And that's what matters more to me than just, you know, making that giant, you know, win. So our goal is to make sure we catch this and we utilize our strategy properly. We do actually have a rule that's too far, too fast. I'm gonna go ahead and explain that right now. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and switch to our private channel. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, is the fact that we are simulcasting. We have multiple streams going on at the same time, right? We have YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and so on. We're gonna, you know, those are obviously the ones that have free access. So those are the ones for everybody. If you haven't already, please sign up for a membership so you can get access to our private stream, which is gonna go ahead for the whole hour again. So I'll be go ahead and switching out to that stream shortly. Hopefully this trade, you know, works itself out, either, you know, stops us out or, you know, whatever the heck happens. I just wanted to do this a last thing here, which is basically kind of explain the too far too fast rule. And the way we do that is like this. We draw basically just a trend line down below here to where it was. I think that it was around 19 points if I'm not mistaken. So our T1 was here around the 570 area. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 570 something. Yeah. Obviously, if you did get slipped, you probably got some really good positive slippage there. So right there. So what you do is essentially you draw a trend line like that. You push it down in increments, right, from where it was. So if price keeps moving in these increments down and it's not making new UFOs where you can move your stop to, you essentially manually move the stop to protect profits. Now, since I could, basically eyeball it by the time I could explain this, that's the whole reason why I moved my stop right here at 14,571. Okay, so just want to kind of clarify that. Obviously, if this ends up making another jolt down, which would not be so unexpected, I'm going to go ahead and take my stop from this, 14,571 area and move it down to this 14,551 area and so on, and just keep doing that until this trade gets us out or gets to T2. It's rare to see getting T2 in these sessions here, but could it happen? Absolutely, especially with the Nasdaq moving as crazy as it does sometimes. And if you're feeling uncomfortable just leaving that much money on the table, for example, this trade was up like, close to, I think, 800 bucks or something like that. Actually, probably a little more, around this 540, yeah, close to $1,000. And you think to yourself, wow, I'm gonna leave $1,000 on the table and only take 370. What the heck's going on here? Are you okay? Yeah, because sometimes if you took it out there, but you could have gotten that T2, then you would have left another 400 on the table because it hit T2. So it's just a matter of preference, I would say. That's just, it's your selection of rules. It's your plan. You definitely want to have a plan, not just trade emotions or a monetary value. You want to make sure that when you do trade is an actual plan and a setup, as opposed to, well, you know what, I think this is not going to keep going down. Well, then, and then you miss out on a day like yesterday, where we had a significant drop. All right, so we're just kind of sitting there. Looks like there's a bit of a battle between buyers and sellers here. Obviously, I'm going to take out these lines. They no longer matter. I do want to keep this line here just in case. Just in case we pop this 531 area, I'm going to move my stop to this 551 area. Just kind of, letting everybody know we do have two green UFOs to get through here. Climb is still to the downside, right? Yes, just making sure. Climate is still to the downside, so. Actually, here we go. We have another UFO that's going to allow us to move our stop to this 567, so 560. We're going to go ahead and move it to 567.25. All right. 567.25 is our new stop. All right, we might actually get T2 by the time I get through this bar of gold. 567.25. Yep, there we are. Okay. All right. Oh, actually, we did pop that, so 551 is going to be the new stop. 551 even. All right. I'm not seeing anybody type it in the chat. Let me know if you took this with me, even if you took it with the micros. I'm going to keep the chat open for just a bit longer. We're about to reach T2. looking, Nasdaq's looking pretty weak. Things are pushing down. It's bouncing up a little bit at that area, but we're going to see what's going to happen. Nonetheless, I mean, this is a very profitable trade. If you took it with the micros, you might have made a little bit less money. If you took it with the mini, you probably, a little bit just shy of that T2. I'm going to keep the stream open just to see if this hits. This is looking like it's going to hit. And there we are. T2 hit. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Sometimes, a trade like this makes a week, makes a month. Sometimes you miss out on it and you feel bad about it. We've done both. But folks, again, we're not at the end of our session. But as I said, please join us on our private stream to keep going at this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the public streams and continue on our private stream. Catch you in a sec.